Dumelang, welcome to yet another episode of Phenomenal Tappy, hosted by yours truly, Tappy, and I also happen to be Phenomenal Tappy. Today, I have a very, very special guest. This person is very dear to my heart, and this is my dad. The reason why I felt it was important for me to have my dad on my podcast is because I wanted to have a daughter and dad real talk where I'll be asking questions that I've always been curious to ask from an early age. So, Papa, thank you for joining us and welcome to my podcast.
Dumelang. Hey, it's right. Thank you very much, girl. Thank you for having me and the viewers. Hey, yeah, no, that's good.
Maybe how can fasha and just tell the people who you are.
My name is I've got so many names, but I'll just be short. My name is Dr. Letlatsa Sipego. Born and bred in Soweto. Go location Libita Mapetla East. I schooled there as well. I started my primary, Odi Primary School. I went to Mabiwane High School. And I completed my matric at Santa Marina High School. Now I'm currently staying at Protea Clan with my family.
Thank you for just introducing yourself and giving us a brief background of who you are. So we are just going to hop straight into it. So growing up in part of the apartheid era, and just in life in general, what inspired you or what influenced?
I was indirectly part of apartheid, but I was born at least on the 70s. I still remember 1976. I was still a small boy. I could see the tear gas. I could see what we call the hippos. I could see the whites. And all that. Then I asked my mommy that, so what's happening? He said, my boy, it's a black power. And I was, no, it's bad. So, and we start now having conversation with the family. That's when now they've educated us, because I had other siblings and they told us that apartheid, it's bad. That's why the blacks Bailwanza, because of segregated, they don't have equal rights at work or anywhere. It's all about whites, So it's really bad compared to now, where you say, we are all equal, we can have a conversation with other races than before. We only play to only black on black, and also segregating ourselves as well and have racial issues as blacks as well. So apartheid it really damaged us, and it's still, and I hope that the youngsters of today, they will actually change that. I can see they're integrating that. They've actually changed that. Even it's there and there, but it's not as rife as yesteryears.
Okay, thank you for sharing that with us. And now that we are done with knowing you and which era you were part of, let's talk about the now and the freedom that we have now and the things that are influencing us now. So when you first found out that you're going to be a dad, how did that make you feel?
Oh wow, that's a good one. Firstly, I was actually very excited, very happy. For one good reason, I was ready. I was at the right age, even though I wouldn't say it, but I was at the right age because I was working. I was financially stable. So I was very excited because I expected to be with somebody that I love it most, that is still my wife to date. So we were both happy. It was my first child, and we are over the moon. It was really exciting.
So in the world that we live in, right, a whole lot of families don't have like a well-structured family, which is mom, dad, and the kids living together. So you had a chance to not be a part of my life, but you chose to do it, right? And what made you stay? Like, what brought you to that decision to say, you know what, I'm not going to be a deadbeat, but I'm actually going to be so involved in my child's life?
Yeah, it's a very touching question. Because of I grew up without my father. Good olden days. I don't know whether it was a no. Most of fathers were absent from their parents, their kids. So when I grew up, I could see that my mom was struggling. She was doing everything for us. And I've realized that no, I just want to do something different. When I grow up, I need to be present for my kids and my family, to be there, to love them, to protect them, to be there full force, so that I can bring something different. Maybe it will actually, I'll cut the bad trend from my lineage.
Okay, that's nice. And also, since you did not grow up with a dad, how did that impact you or influence you to be like a better father to your kids? Because I mean, you did not have any example. You did not see someone father you, or you did not have someone to guide you into that direction. So how did that impact you to say, I'm going to be a better father?
Yeah, looking at, I would say, during the olden time, there was a little bit of, we never knew those are people, we call them, what we call our role models. There was a dad that stayed thousands from us. Had a very functional family. I would call mine dysfunctional because the father wasn't there. But she was the father that would all the time call us, just talk to us boys, go to school. After finishing matric, I'll give you a nice job, or I'll give you a bursary. Those were encouraging words. I would see myself in his shoes, as to even to become better than him, because he would encourage us to be very positive through thick and thin. And it really stood up for me, that is to say that I would really want to be a better person, not to be like, Dad, sorry, I know you might be watching this. I didn't want to be like you, even though it's bad. I still love you. I'm my dad.
So moving from that, what other impactful moments that happened, or challenges that happened in your life, that were just like a wake-up call to say, okay, I'm a dad and I'm a grown up?
The worst challenge is that one is also emotional as well. It was when I lost my mom. It was just after my marriage, and I was expecting my second born. And it was quite difficult because she was a pillar of my strength. I could also go and cry to her, even though I was still married. I was still a man, but I could go and cry to her. And it was quite very challenging for me. But because all the time she will say, boy, through thick and thin, you must pray. You must believe that the impossible that will be possible. And I kept on her words when she said that. Then it kept pushing on me. It said, no, I wouldn't leave that. I wouldn't leave my kids. I wouldn't leave other siblings. I keep pushing under circumstances. I kept pushing.
That's good. That's a nice one. So maybe if you could share with us your proudest moment as a father.
Oh, the good one, the good moment. I wish all the fathers, they could be like me. I'm not giving myself a credit, but I think I'm a very good father. Knowing that, I'm always there for my family. I'm always there for my kids. I'm always, I'm putting everything. I'm putting my family at first, even more than me. My family comes from the first more than me.
So also, I just wanted to ask, so you have 3 kids.
Yes.
Right. In the 3 kids, who do you think has the most characteristics of dad?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think all 3, they've got all my characteristics, but it's there and there and there. But the most one, she's a second born. Letabo, she's got all my characteristics. She likes laughing very loud. She speaks loud. Yo, and she's a person of persons. I'm not saying the other two are not person of person, but this one, she said most.
I thought I was the favorite, but clearly I am not, guys. I am not. I'm the first. I'm the trial and error, but I'm not being quoted, so I don't understand. But anyway, let's move on to other questions that we have for you. What mistakes or challenges that you've gone through in life that you would not want to repeat, or you not want young people to repeat?
The one of the mistake or the challenge that I've challenged, it was to be introvert. As much as I was extrovert, but I was very introvert in terms of my family things, bottle them up, not talking to anyone. But at the street, I will laugh, I will converse, I will be all right. But I've realized that if you don't talk, if you don't talk to somebody, or you have somebody to talk to, it's coming to have a negative impact somewhere in your life, because now you start to be more introvert instead of being extrovert, so yeah, I think young people should start talking. Young people should, even though their fathers or their mothers are not there, have somebody to rely on, and that you can talk to, that we can exchange anything and conversation, good or bad, so that you can free your soul.
Maybe do you mind sharing what were those introvert things that you did not know how to address them or talk about, like challenges?
In particular, my absence of my father, I think it had a very, very negative impact to me, because I would see other children having their fathers going to. I really loved soccer. And when the other boys come with their fathers, it's only my mom and my other two siblings, they were there for me. But hey, I wish their dad was there as well, just to pick up me with the hand and give me courage. But yeah, and it was very difficult to talk about people. I take it as a normal thing, but I could see that it impacted negatively, as I'm saying that. Now I've started to be interviewed. You talk to with your father about your father, I will say, it's one of those things. So I was sort of an ignorant element for me, so say, I don't care whether you've got a father or not. For me, it's fine. I'll carry on through thick and thin.
Well, we are blessed to have you, and we are honored to call you our father and our dad, because you do so much for us. And if it wasn't for you, I feel like a whole lot of things wouldn't have happened. So I don't know if we should share this, but as a family, so me, you, mom, and siblings, we've been through a bit of rough patches. If you could advise people going through stuff as a family, what would that look like? Or what would you say to, especially fathers?
Thank you very much. I'll take that as a compliment, and I think fathers should change their mindset, of saying that I'm a head of the house, as much as, from the beginning, God give us that authority as the head of the houses. But you should share everything in your family. You should have a conversation, whether it's bad, whether it's good, whether it's time of crying, it's time of, laughing, dads, be there for your kids, so that we can see how they are growing, put effort on their weaknesses, give them courage. Ungathi umntana wakho wena ngiyakwazi ukuthi udom, no, menza ukuthi abe dom. Give courage, even though you see that he or is lacking somewhere. Don't say negative words all the time, be positive, and then you become a better kids or a better family. Let's pull up our socks.
Okay, that's a good one. Thank you so much, Baba. So maybe, because we're about to just close it off and wrap it off, let's keep it light. Let's keep it 3 ways to describe yourself.
I'm very simple, Michael. loving, caring, and responsible. That's the best of me.
Masha, look at you. Okay, the last question that I have, because like I said, my dad is going to be a regular in this podcast. So for today's episode, it was just us knowing him, and then we'll go deeper and deeper and deeper with time. The last question for you is, what's your favorite scripture and why?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of scripture, but the scriptures se ke sa ratang haholo ke Psalm 121. You know, that scripture. I still remember Sampandra Wanyani, we used to do a rhyme, Jehovah ke modisa wa ka, you know, you never had their real meaning up until now. We become matured, as to say, as I've just mentioned prior, that, you know, through thick and thin, ke modimo re tsamaisang ke ena o re fa matla, you know, ke ena e tsang hore we, even though we have challenges ko ntlong or with my friends, you know, ke ena all the time, modisa wa rona ke ena na le rona all the time.
That's a good one, guys. So remember that you are blessed to be a blessing. Give hope, give awareness, and also this will help us all conquer so gracefully in all that we do. Thank you.